Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 314 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed Malai. She is an artist originally from Queens, New York, currently residing in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she was sent over to me by Dom. Shout out to Dom for obviously always sending me incredible artists. And this was a very inspiring episode. Dia had a lot of great gems to share on this one. We talked about her recent project, The Loop, what went into creating it, and really just what she hopes to leave behind with it as far as inspiring listeners. And she also talked about not only her move to Raleigh 6 years ago and what that meant to her career and her trajectory, but how she plans to keep evolving as not only an artist, but as a human being, and continue to elevate along the way in her journey, which I thought was very, very cool. And she just had a lot of great points about self-love, self-discovery, betting on yourself, all those good things that I myself believe in for sure, and I hope a lot of you guys do too, because that is really the backbone of being a creative. You have to have that self-belief. You have to believe, against all odds that you're going to make it happen, you're going to make it work one way or another. And that's the type of motivational stuff I love. So I appreciate her for stopping by, sharing all those great points. She also has some more new music she's going to be releasing soon, so I'm excited to tap in with that. But overall, like I said, this one is going to get you motivated this week, and I hope you guys enjoy it as always. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is episode 314. Happy to be joined by another amazing artist out of North Carolina. Malai, how you doing?
Doing amazing. How are you?
Doing great, and I gotta say thank you to Dom, first of all, for setting this up and getting us introduced to each other, and very happy to have you here today. And we usually have the guest just give some background as far as, how did you get into music initially, and just let people know, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a singer-songwriter, entrepreneur. I'm from Queens, New York. So I am from a melting pot where, there's a lot of different types of artists and sounds of music. So really, I want to say being from New York, as well as being around a family or being in a family who loves music, of all types, all genres. So I think really that what I grew up on is really a piece of the fusion that my artistry has.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's fusions of Afrobeat, there's fusions of even more like how would you describe this particular genre? But it's like Indian culture, Arabian culture type of music, like the instruments that they use, and the type of notes that they sing. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I grew up in Richmond Hill, Jamaica, Queens,
nice.
St. Albans, a little bit of everywhere. So I mean, of course, if you love music and you walk outside the house, you're gonna hear music in New York City. So I mean, it just kind of absorbed within me.
Yeah. So I guess I would ask firstly, how did you end up in Raleigh, North Carolina after, being from a place like Queens? Was that a decision based on music and like where you were heading as an artist, or was that just based on like personal preference?
This was a personal life choice. Okay. This was definitely a move that I made. I don't want to say that I didn't have my career in mind, but it wasn't a move for my career. It was a move for peace of mind, really. My mom moved out here, and I would always come to visit her. And then my sister or my niece and nephew started moving down here. And the more that I would come and visit my family, the more I was just like, it's kind of nice out here. Yeah. It's kind of peaceful. The air quality is great. It smells beautiful outside. It smells fresh, which is also something that unfortunately New York City doesn't have to offer. And I love my city. But this was, I think, the chapter of my life that I'm in right now. So that's how I ended up here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mom Dukes. Shout out to Mama Malay for, being that influence right there.
Yeah. And that's obviously incredible to do for your mental health and everything else as well. And I'm sure that even though it wasn't strictly based on music and art, it probably had an influence on how you're approaching that now, being in a different environment.
100%.
So talk about that for a little bit. Like, how has it affected your music that you've been making recently as well?
Yeah, my pen has been on fire. My pen has been on fire. And I don't know if it's because New York is just so overstimulating that, like, sometimes you can be a creative in the city, but it's like so much creation happening that it's like you can easily get sidetracked. So being here, I can hear my own thoughts. I live alone. I have my moments where I'm able to, like, sit with myself. And it is silence outside after 11 o'clock. And I can really, like, zone in and record from home and do all those different kind of things that I wasn't able to do growing up in New York City. And again, I do still love my city. Like, I would love to go back. Actually, I'm trying to go back this summer just to see. New York summer is always fun, but really, North Carolina provided me with more of a peace of mind, and it gave me a lot of it more structure when it comes to adulting. So, very necessary chapter of my life. My business is thriving here. I got my company Multi Creates LLC off the ground being in North Carolina. So it's so many different things. Again, like, I'm able to mentally process everything and really, truly lay everything out. No distractions to figure out what the next step is.
Yeah.
So
awesome. It sounds like that was definitely a necessary change for you in your journey where you were at the time as well. So congrats on that, because I think that's a super bold, super brave move to do for yourself, with yourself in mind as well. And I assume that's how you met someone like Dom, because Dom is obviously based out of North Carolina. Talk about not only Dom, like meeting him and what that's meant, but who else have you met down there that has really changed where you're headed musically and just with everything you're doing?
Yeah, ironically speaking, I moved here in 2020. So June will make 6 years of me being down here. And I can actually and factually say that I have had more motion in my career in North Carolina than I had in New York City. And I don't know if it has anything to do with, the focus level, me being able to hone in and go and actually seek the opportunities instead of living within the opportunity. So it's like, what opportunity should you take? It became more of a thing where, again, I met Dom in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
I was invited to a showcase. Chance to Star was in Virginia. It was a festival. And I went out there. He just happened to be there, and I met him. I think it was either before or after my performance, but we ended up connecting. He was telling me he's into the marketing world, and really, ultimately, that's really just how that happened. We stayed connected since, and I was just like, next time I drop a project, I'm definitely gonna pull you in. We're gonna do some work, and that's exactly what happened. So
yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, and I think that's a good segue into what I was going to touch on next, which is your project that just came out earlier this year, The Loop. It's 8 tracks. I love the artwork, by the way, because it's like that representation of the loop, which I thought was pretty cool. 8 tracks. It's got a lot of different. I almost hear what you talked about earlier, where it's like a fusion of styles. Like, it's technically R&B, but I feel like there's some elements of hip hop. There's some dance hall elements. There's different things going on there. So tell us about this project. What's the concept, and how was it creating this body of work?
So The Loop was recorded, mixed, mastered, and mostly written. I'll say 80% of the songs got written within that eight month window. Within an 8-month window. And then it was put out within that 8-month window. So we kind of like really funneled in to get it done.
Yeah.
Personal choice, of course. Like, I like to push myself. And I like to, just do things I've never done before. I told myself going into 2026, I just turned 30. And I've been actually waiting for this decade of my life. I've been waiting for it to arrive because I've always felt somewhere in my spirit that this would be the chapter where I'm going to thrive instead of just survive.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to, be here. And I was just like, now that we're here, I got to go harder than ever. I got to make doing the promises that I made to myself years ago. As you grow, as you get older, you're only going to become more committed to the process. Do not allow, the ways of the world or the ways of time to, separate you from your dreams, separate you from your calling and your purpose and everything that I feel like I was put here to do. So I'm really one of those cases where, like, art to me, it is a big part of my life. Like, it's in my DNA, and it would be shameful if I was to not put that on display and share it with other people, because I do have a lot to offer creatively. So
yeah, and that's going against the grain too, and that I think that alludes back to you made that decision to move, right, from a familiar place to a place that you'd never been before or you had never lived before. So it kind of the parallels there, where it's like you're continuing to be brave in that way, where it's like it kind of sucks because unfortunately you're right. I think society, the older we get, they're trying to make us conform more and more and more. If you're an artist, and it's like you can choose to do that, it's easy to conform, but like going against the grain, staying true to yourself, that's what it's all about. And I think that's what art is all about too, being able to do that and kind of push the boundaries and then hopefully inspire someone else to do the same thing along the way. How do you think this album in particular is doing that, as far as like the reception you've got from it? Like, people hear it, what are they saying about it to you directly, about the music?
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that they feel this is my best project. They tell me it feels authentic, which is exactly what I was going for, because that's exactly what my brand is. I want to make sure whatever it is that I touch, whatever it is that I put out, is made to motivate somebody. It's made to, fill somebody with their own purpose, right? Like, sometimes we can have our purpose, and because we know our purpose, because we're standing in it, we're able to easily kind of like radiate that onto somebody else for them to have their own awakening. Like, whoa, like I could be doing my passion. I could be doing more than I'm doing right now. And there's nothing wrong with where anybody is right now on today. But at the same time, it's like, you don't want to stay who you are today on May 31st, 2026. May 31st, 2027, you should be a new version, a new and improved version of yourself. We want to go upward. It's about the upward progression.
Yeah.
So, I am very, very big on that. My company is called Multi Creates, but it's short for Motivational Creations. And it's just short for anything that I touch, anything that I create is meant to motivate. My next project that I got coming out, I was kind of battling with putting it out, because all of the feedback that I'm getting from this album, everyone's saying that it's authentic and they personally feel like it's my best work. It's making me feel like I need to put out some music that I've been harboring for a very long time. Like, music that's just been sitting in my hard drive for some time, doing nothing. And it's really my pain music, and it's really kind of like my diary music that I've been prolonging. Some of the songs on the next project I wrote 10 years ago.
Wow.
So, and me just not wanting to put it out because at the time I had a very hard and difficult time being vulnerable in my music and sharing it with people for people to see it. And now I'm a lot different, because I want for people to be able to relate to me. I think that's such a big part of artistry. I think of all my favorite artists, the Michael Jacksons of the world, and why I love Michael Jackson. What is it that I love Michael Jackson for? It's the connection that I feel to him based off of what I know through his music and from what I see. The interviews like this. And, anything. It could be anything where your fans have and your supporters have the opportunity to get to know the real you. That's what makes them stand behind you. So the project is going to come out, and, I might be nervous and, scratching my head when it drops, but it needs to come out. So, yeah.
Wanted to take a quick minute out of today's episode to let you guys know of a way that you can support the show, a way that you can donate some funds to us, starting at as little as $5 or more via our Ko-fi page. Now, we've been using Ko-fi now for a few years, and it's been a very effective way to generate some funds that we end up using for, future guests, sponsors, just an overall way to keep this show as quality as it has been for the last several years, and we always appreciate any and all contributions. So if you go to coffee.com/The Proven Knowledge Podcast, that's KO-FI.com/The Proven Knowledge Podcast, you can donate, like I said, $5 or more. It gives you that option to do 10, 20, 30, or just type in whatever amount. Any contributions are appreciated, and I do this show from the bottom of my heart for the love of it at the end of the day, but those funds are always welcome because they do allow us to do more and be more flexible with how we continue to grow this platform in the future. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. The link will be in the description of the show notes of this episode you're listening to now, so definitely check it out. But without further ado, let's get back into the episode. Nice. It's like you gotta live with the music and the moments too, and then be willing to release them into the world at some point. So it's good to hear that you've gotten to the point where you're feeling good about doing that and putting that out there. Is there anything you can reveal about like the concept of it? Do you have like a title or anything you want to share? You don't have to share everything obviously right now, but anything you can reveal?
I'll just say it's really a soundtrack to all of the lessons that I've learned in love.
That's exciting.
And that includes, some of the deepest pain that I've ever experienced. And that's hard for me to even say to you right now. And Vidya 3, maybe 4 or 5 years ago in her career, she would never say that. She would never want to be vulnerable. You got to also think about where I'm from. We are supposed to be tough because we are living in a city where anything can happen to us. And, we got to know defense. You have to know defense. So just growing in my artistry, growing as an individual, as a person, again, no longer living in the environment that I grew up in, I can step out and actively see my lack of vulnerability in my music previously. So, I'm just at a space now where it's like it got to come out. It might hurt a couple feelings. It might make a couple people, a little bit mad, but it's okay. This is still my story and it's my truth. And I wouldn't be a real artist if I didn't.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's all very necessary for that personal growth and that continued elevation to be able to continue to do that along the way.
Right.
So again, congratulations on that because it's super commendable to be able to do something like that. And I think that kind of segues us good into these last few questions already. And these are, again, more life-related ones I ask on every episode. The first one is if you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself any piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
I would say no distractions. I would say no distractions. I would say drop the music. Don't just record it and keep it in the archive and play it for your friends when you're hanging out with them. And then they get the earworm of your song. And so now every time you meet up with them again, they're like, play the song. I would just put it out.
Yeah.
Also, I would say be very careful with who you allow access to you, because I think that was a big one too. You know, the people that we surround ourselves with, or the people that we allow in our spaces, in our worlds, we may not know it, right? It's like a drop of water in a bucket. You may not know that it's filling up. You may not know the effects, the non-positive effects that somebody could be having on you in the moment. It's not always so obvious. But before you know it, that bucket is going to fill up, and then you're going to feel weighed down. Mm-hmm. And so I would say 10 years ago, Dia, 20-year-old Dia, choose yourself. Choose yourself, because you, at that current point in time, don't even know how valuable you truly are, not just to the world, but to yourself.
Hmm. Being able to protect your energy is such a big part of even just being a creative, but just being a human being, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel the same in my own journey a little bit, because it's like, I think when you're younger too, you might not understand that concept. But the older you get, it's like you start to get it. Every year you start to get it more and more and more. Until the point where you're like, yeah, these changes are things I need to do for myself. Because at the end of the day, we have ourselves. You know what I mean? People will come in and out of our lives, whether it's good or bad. It's just like, it is what it is. So you got to do what's best for you. So yeah.
And that's why I said that. You know, it's very important, your own relationship with yourself, choosing yourself. And it's more about what you have to offer to the world. It's what you have to offer to yourself. Because if you're not offering the right things to yourself, you know, feeding your own mind the right things, saying the right things to yourself, and being careful, the information that you retrieve from other people onto you. You're especially when you're young, you're a sponge. Mm-hmm. You're a sponge. You're still kind of learning right from wrong, right? You're still kind of learning yourself. So the Dia now who wholeheartedly, I know myself. I know the things that I will and will not tolerate. I know the things that I like and do not like. I know the things that turn me on and off. All these things. So it's like, it took time. Mm-hmm. Time is the most expensive thing. So there's quite literally nothing more expensive than time, and nothing more valuable than time. That's why look at what time has done.
Yeah.
From then to now.
Exactly. And that leads perfectly into the next question, which is where we flip that previous question and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself in music, in life, everything?
See, that one just made me smile. I love talking about this because, you know, let's say the 10-year-old Dia, 10 year from now Dia, she's going to be fully in her entrepreneur journey, meaning my content studio, my creative space, I'll say, will be open. More than likely, we'll have multiple in various locations. This is my way of giving back to the creative community, and also getting people to gain a little bit more awareness to Dia Malai as the brand and the music and everything like that. You know, I would come on here and say, you know, Grammy award-winning artist and all these different things, but I really do think it's bigger than the impact and well, it's bigger than the accolades. It is more so about the impact. So I'm not one of those people or artists where, you know, a big part of my career is chasing the plaques. And I mean, I actually got a plaque, but that's not here nor there. But it's not one of those things that I'm chasing. I am actually seeking impact.
Yeah.
I'm looking to have a true impact on this world, because, you know, they can't bury your Grammys with you. They can't bury, you know, the plaques and the awards and all, like, you can't take it with you. The money, you can't take it with you. The biggest part of it is what I leave and my experience while I'm here, to say that I did life the best that I could.
Yeah.
Did life the best that I could, and the impact that I left on the people who remain. So, and my baby is the creative community. that's where I'm starting. That's where I'm choosing to place my impact. And I know that I could do it. I got that fire in me. I don't take no for an answer. No to me is just not right now. It's kind of like a little, like a translator thing in my ear. I don't know. Can't help it. And yeah, I know that anything is possible. As a matter of fact, when people talk about impossibilities or, try to, I don't know, think that basically whatever their capabilities is, undermine your capabilities.
Yeah.
Whenever people do that in my presence, you can't.
Yeah. I was thinking of the word pigeonhole. That's the word I was thinking of. They try to pigeonhole you into one thing or one box.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep.
You can't be that around me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I know anything around me will succeed, including myself. So that's why I'm choosing to gear it into the creative community, because I'm somebody, I've been doing this for 10 years. I started my recording journey in 2016 and we're 2026 now. So I am a person that I do feel like I have a lot of sound advice to offer people. And aside from just sound advice, very, very soon I'll be able to offer resources as well and be a resource myself. So yeah, very excited for this next chapter within the next 10 years. Yeah. And we going up.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And again, congrats on all of it, because I think it's awesome, and it's great goals to have too for the future. So it's going to be exciting to see it all unfold as well. Yeah. You dropped a ton of wisdom on this episode, indirectly, directly, but do you have any final words of wisdom before we get out of here?
Believe in yourself. Take out your environment. Take out all the words that people have shared with you, telling you who you are. Quiet that noise. Turn on the switch of your inner voice. And that inner voice, it is coming from a higher power. I don't know what you believe in. I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I truly believe that operating, turning on that light within you will have you, it will kind of like activate a different segment of your life. Understand that. It's going to really feel like night and day. Once you start to ignore the outward noise and start listening to the inward noise, you can become something you never thought that you yourself could become. And that's all I'm saying. Forget about what mom thought that you could be or succeed in. Forget about what, whatever it is. Sometimes it's the church. Sometimes it's church hurt. Sometimes it's a bunch of different things, right? Forget what the box that they put you in, the capabilities that they believe that you have. Eliminate that. And inherit the idea that you can do whatever it is that your heart is in. And that is my only advice. You will succeed with that notion. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I got chills personally, so I hope the listeners do as well. And it's like you said, anything is really possible at the end of the day. You can take it as far as you want to take it. It's all up to you.
That's right.
And Dia, I gotta say, you're doing that in your own journey, and it's great to watch. It's going to be great to follow from here. And I want to thank you again for stopping by today, and I'm sure we're going to do a part 2 eventually as well, because we're going to have probably a lot of cool stuff to cover in the near future. But thanks again. Congrats on everything you got going, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you so much, Anthony. This has been amazing.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Just want to say thank you for tuning in today. Be sure to hit that coffee link in the description of this episode if you'd like to donate any funds. And we'll see you back here with another new episode next week. As always, thank you for your support.